Well, today's the day that you can go out and buy the new Vatic Pro VSOL foam core paddles. I have the VSOL Pro and the VSOL Power here in the hybrid 16 millimeter variants. So on the screen now, you'll see specifications for both of these paddles along with all of the other variants. I just want you to have that data available for you so you can be thinking about that as we go through the review. So to begin with, I purchased these paddles. They were not sent to me, and so my opinion is my own. And yeah, there we go. I have played the most with the Pro version. I think I've got about 6 or 7 hours in with this one and about 2 or 3 hours in with the Power. Right now, like probably a lot of the other reviewers that you've seen, I am preferring the Pro paddle. It did take me a little while to get used to the sound of it because part of playing pickleball is knowing kind of how you're hitting the ball and how your opponent is hitting the ball based on the sound of the paddle. But once I did get used to that more deadened sound, it did make it easier for me to play because a lot of times you don't get the feel that you want. I mean, this certainly has more feel than the Power, but sometimes you just don't get the feel that you want off the touch, and the sound is what helps you know whether or not you're hitting the ball the way you want to. Just to kind of give you an example of the sound, let's bounce some balls off of these. So I've got one of these Crown pickleballs, and we'll start with the VSOL Pro. This is a full foam core. It's a floating core, and you'll hear this sound here. You can hear that. It sounds a little bit more deadened than what the Power sounds like. And that's simply because the Power has cutouts in the foam core. It's not a floating core, so it is stiffer. So what that results in is a little less feel with the Power than you have with the Pro. Drives and serves with the Pro performed really similarly, at least for me anyway, from what I could tell, to the 16 millimeter Saga Flash. I really felt like it has about the same amount of power and the same amount of spin, and it's because it's really the same surface. None of these paddles are going to really differ in their spin rates because as far as I can tell, a lot of the same technology that has gone into the surface, the face of this, is also what's in the Saga as well. And so as far as that performance when it comes to your spin and things like that, it's pretty much performed the same. I did find that with the Power, I had to pay a little bit closer attention to how much I was putting into my serves and my drives. This isn't like an exponential increase in power, but a lot like the Saga series, what you put into it, you'll get out of it. So with drops and resets, I found the Pro to be great. It has nice touch and feel, and it's something that I expect from a Vatic Pro paddle that's 16 millimeters. It performed exactly as I expected it to. I'm really surprised at how much this does perform like the Saga. And so if you've had a Saga for a while, I think what you're going to hear from me is that the Pro version performs a lot like it. Now, as far as drops and resets with the Power, this is more, and many of you probably won't remember this, but maybe you will if you had one. This felt a lot like the Oni did. You had to really pay attention to what you were doing with your drops until you acclimated to the paddle. It's got a lot more pop off the face, and so that means when you're hitting a third, you got to pay attention to hitting those thirds a little bit too high. Resets are certainly there. It's not twisting in the hand or anything like that. Would it benefit from some weight? I'm sure that it would. I'm not one who particularly adds weight to my paddles, so that would be a customization decision that you'd have to make on your own. So with dinks and at the kitchen, if you are a control player, you definitely want the Pro. It's going to give you that touch and that feel that you want at the kitchen line. Whereas with the Power, you're going to have to pay a little bit more attention to what you're doing because it feels a little bit stiffer and some of those dinks might go a little bit high. And so just pay attention to that and be aware of it. Resets for both of them felt fine. I didn't really feel like the paddle was twisting very much in my hand. And so for both of these, I found that they perform just as well as any of the previous versions of the Vatic do. All right, so as far as quality is concerned, hey, it's Vatic Pro. I've got paddles from Vatic that I've had for 2 years that I can still take out and play with. And these have the polypropylene cores, no core crushing. Have they lost some spin? Sure, that's what happens. The face wears down. But as far as a quality control, I have never had a Vatic paddle go bad on me, and these feel pretty good. I've beaten this one around quite a bit and pretty happy with it. I know that with the first version of their foam core, they had some issues with the face separating from the core, and I'm not seeing anything like that on my end. Everything feels great. It feels secure, and it feels like a high quality paddle, and it comes with their standard warranty that they put on all of their other paddles. All right, so let's talk about value. With code GenXDinks, you get these for $99. So that's $100 for a full foam core paddle. There's some of them out there that are over $200. And I mean, look, if you are a recreational player, if you're an amateur player, if you want the best bang for your buck, I think Vatic Pro is still the brand out there to beat when it comes to value, when it comes to giving you a high quality product for a low price. $99 with code GenXDinks to get either one of these or any of the other variants. I think Vatic really hit it out the park with the price of the paddle, and I think they're going to sell a lot of these. They're really nice paddles in my opinion. Okay, so who is this paddle for? Well, I think if you're a high beginner and intermediate player, the VSOL Pro is going to be right in your wheelhouse. I think even beginners could pick this thing up and play with it, although I tend to point beginners towards the Prism. I think a beginner could make do with this one with enough practice. Intermediate to high level players, I think, are going to be the ones that are going to be looking for the power, just simply because of the stiffer face. You're going to need a little bit more control than the average player has. And so for the intermediate to advanced player, you're going to want the VSOL Power if that's what you're looking for. But if you're an intermediate or advanced player and you like control, go with the Pro. I think either one of these are going to be a good choice for intermediate to advanced players. But if you're a beginner, go with the Pro, or maybe even choose a Prism. Overall, great paddles. You're going to want to get these. Don't forget code GenXDinks, and you'll get these for $99 each. That's it. I'll talk to you next time. My name's John, and I'll see you out on the pickleball courts.